Dire team ban. Radiant team.
Welcome back. We're here for the final game of the day, Dota 2 Canada Cup. We have Five Kings versus Vex Gaming NA. Winner of this is going to move on to the playoff stages of the tournament. Loser of this will go home with nothing. And I am NYJohn. With me is my co-caster El Presidente. Are you excited for this game?
I am definitely excited for this game. I got to bring my announcer voice in full force.
And we will see Five Kings coming off a really dominant performance throughout the entirety of the last game. Vex Gaming, meanwhile, a team I have not seen, but they won their first game, whoever they played against. It could have been either Kato or Five Kings, I'm not entirely sure. But then they lost in what must have been a 50-minute game against Smeagol. So they put up a fight, it seems, from the outside looking in, which is impressive. Smeagol, a lot of notable players in that roster, of course, formerly known as Fnatic NA, and they have actually advanced to the playoff stage. They won out this group. But that said, we should have a good one on our hands between Vex and Five Kings. We can look at the bans early. It seems like Lone Druid and Wisp are banned out for the Dire. The Radiant took out both Batrider and Gyrocopter. So finally, a game without a Gyrocopter. I'm not going to be too upset about that. And Lifestealer's first pick, Treant Protector and Clockwork are the response. So no Gyrocopter means we get a Treant. It's a trade-off, I guess.
I don't know. I think Gyrocopter is more exciting than Treant Protector. Treant Protector is, something's happening mid. Living armor. Damn it.
Yes, I can agree with that, but we've seen too much Gyrocopter. I'd rather see the boring Treant for one matchup. But I do like these picks coming out from Vex Gaming. Clockwork is an awesome hero, and we saw last game, even with Kato really suffering, Clockwork was the catalyst for a couple of those pickoffs. And you can see, with teams falling behind, he just has so much innate damage. You were talking about how Battery Assault does a whole lot of damage if you can catch one target within those cogs, and it definitely is true. And in the middle game, he could be a hero that pulls you back in gradually. So I like him in all phases of the game, of course, and I think he is definitely warranted for a top 2 pick. We see Five Kings pick up Keeper of Light to round up there too. So once again, no big surprises in this early stages of the draft.
Yeah, nothing too super out of the ordinary. Vex Gaming could do a weird pocket strat involving like Darkseer, but they banned the Darkseer and like a Jakiro right after.
Yeah, they do. Darkseer is taken out, and Five Kings are going to look for their third ban. They take out Queen of Pain, who has been one of the most popular heroes in this tournament, so definitely another good ban to get out of the mix. I think if we're looking at Vex Gaming, they're looking for potentially a solo here and a carry, and of course another support, but I think probably more keen on getting rid of the solo. So you can understand why the Five Kings want to take out something like a Quap at this stage, and then Nyx Assassin taken out by Vex, and the response is Nature's Prophet taken out by Five Kings, and we're back to picks.
Yeah, for Vex Gaming though, they're definitely looking at a very defensive trial lane by nature of the Treant Protector, and I feel awful for saying that. They're running very defensive teams, so
Yeah, and you have to, because Treant Protector doesn't do too much on an offensive capability. But Templar Assassin, I like this pick. We saw TA last game get bursted through and handled very effectively, but this game, not only there aren't the options, there's no Gyrocopter up against you, there's no Darkseer up against you, so they made sure they banned out those two heroes that work very well against Templar Assassin, but also you have the Treant Protector to fall back on. So think about this. You have to burn through not only Refraction, but then through to the Living Armor. It's going to be really frustrating for whoever she's up against middle, unless it happens to be something like an OD, which, then GG, who cares?
then it's what mana, no refraction. Ogre! Oh, hot damn!
Wow, this is an early Ogre. I'm not sure if Five Kings are valuing him as a commodity. I don't know why it's picked so early.
I'm so happy. This is awesome. I love Ogre. Also, Vex Gaming, Spectre 5th pick, calling it now.
Spectre 5th pick. Spectre Clockwork is Rattlesnake's favorite combination of heroes ever. And I do like Spectre when you have a Treant Protector as well, because you're holding down the heroes and you just get to claw at them. But this Ogre pickup at third, I don't know. It's kind of cool because Keeper of the Light, of course, being able to throw in more mana. Ogre's cooldowns are really low, but of course the mana starts to catch up with him as he levels those abilities. So you can really get the most out of him. And a Weaver, another hero that can benefit from having an Ogre on the teams as Lifestealer can, with that late game scalability of Bloodlust, of course. So we will see just exactly what they want to do with lanes here. This could be. I think it looks defensive on both sides.
10
Five Kings looks a
seconds.
little bit more offensive. Ogre is actually a very offensive hero, just by virtue of being
5
a
seconds.
very, very tanky hero. Second tankiest hero with no items in the game.
Reset
So
time.
I'd have to say Five Kings want to run more offensively with this. And Ogre is, again, one of the best roaming heroes as well. So if they wanted to go rotate onto TA, thanks to the Ignite, they can actually burn through Refraction with some reasonable speed.
Yeah, that is another good point. I still think I'm thinking they're thinking passive because if you take into consideration the fact that Lich will be in that bottom lane, they'd really be pulled back far in that lane. Keeper Light, not that great in aggressive tri-lanes, so we'll see actually what pans out when we get into the game. But curious to see what these final picks are going to be. You predicted Spectre. I think that's a very valid option. There's a couple of ban opportunities here, so can Five Kings get on your wavelength and ban it out before there's an opportunity for Vex Gaming to pick it up? I'm not sure. We'll see in a moment. Meanwhile, for Vex Gaming, they're looking to ban out a middle or a long laning, depending on where this Weaver is going to end up. Of course, we saw Smash take it middle for Arctic yesterday with great success, and then the game after, we saw Ewo take it into a
To a
tri
tri
lane
lane.
and had phenomenal success. So,
It's
any,
hard to really say with Weaver. He's such a versatile hero, and the thing about Lifestealer is just as versatile. He can also the first Dota 2 Canada Cup, which was many many months ago.
Dire's
Lifestealer
middle
was a
tower
first pick for solo long lanes,
mm-hmm. And
right? And
yeah,
and that was before Lifestealer became like super duper popular in professional games. Yes, I was somewhat right.
been
Five
picked.
Kings ban Spectre.
they get the Spectre ban. They're on it. And we have a 3 minute delay, so no one can accuse us of cheating. But that is a good call from Five Kings. I'm impressed. And Dragonite is banned out as well. I think that was probably a valid option. You could see the Dragonite coming in middle. Uh, it would be a whole lot of farming heroes, but it wouldn't be that bad. We'll see what they're left with. Puck is
30
still
seconds
available.
remaining.
Five Kings may opt for that to go up against the Templar Assassin. Vex, meanwhile, have to look for another carry to substitute in now, since they can't get their hands on that Spectre. Oh,
Oh,
there she
okay.
is. A pretty good substitute. Naga Siren, I heard earlier in an interview that Puppy is saying Naga Siren is going to work her way back up to first pick material.
Okay, I hear that claim, and I can see why someone would make that claim. But the first place that Nago Siren even saw first pick, first ban material was because Lycan was also first ban, first pick material, and Naga Siren just basically beat Lycan in any man fight that you could possibly play against him, right? It wasn't possible for Lycan to beat Naga Siren, so that's why Nagas was so popular. That said, with the changes to her Riptide, she's a much stronger laner than she used to be.
Reserve
So it's possible. The problem is her ability to carry pretty much got killed by her inability to really easily last hit in early phases of the game.
That base damage. Yep. Naga Siren suffers from horrible base damage just like Mirana. If only they buffed Mirana's base damage, they could take all the other buffs away. It wouldn't matter. She'd be a good hero. But a little bit of a rant. The Five Kings are looking for a fifth hero here, so they already have Weaver, Ogre, Magi, Keeper of Light, and Lifestealer. Definitely want something that can work, feed off of the Ogre Magi, something that can work in conjunction with Keeper of the Light. Uh, they're going to go with a
Oh,
Viper, and
what?
Viper is actually a legitimate hero now because Corrosive Skin gets triggered by everything. So really frustrating ability in the middle of these team fights, but I'm not sure it fits particularly well in their lineup as is.
Yeah, Viper is going to be a good hero to counter up against the TA, though, with all of the dots and such. Makes it very difficult.
Yeah, so we'll get to see that in play. Viper probably going to end up middle, and we'll go over the teams right now. So for the Five Kings, they're on our dire side. We have Got the Magic playing the Viper. He had a great game last time around on Skywrath Mage. Twilight 2008 is going to be the carry player on Lifestealer. It looks like Frizz will take up the Ogre Magi. Presto will be on Keeper of the Light once again, and Enkos got Magic on Weaver.
For Vex Gaming, we're seeing Tiburon playing that clockwork in the hard lane. In the mid lane, we're seeing Frozen taking the TA there. And in the solo safe, in the tri lane in the safe lane, we're seeing Dewey on Treon Protector. Halunichi, or Halukni? How would you pronounce that?
I'm going to make it up when I have to actually say it, but until then, we're going to wait.
Wonderful. Naga Siren and wrong dot rar. So you gotta get some win rar in this to figure out what he's really all about. To also going down that tri lane, but it looks like he's gonna be eating a creep for Clockwork.
Aha Luckney is what I'm going to
Aha,
go with.
aha, Luckney.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say aha.
Aha Luckney. We'll roll with that and hope that it's close enough. Don't
Too
really
many
mind.
syllables.
I always tell players if they want me to pronounce their name right, they have to give me like phonetics before the game, and no one did that. I don't think I actually won this group, but either way, I'm content with messing up his name for one game, and then I'll get those angry PMs afterwards. Either way, it looks like Tiburion's going to run into an Illusion Rune in the top river. He's going to be solo up against Twilight, so they're putting a lot into Lifestealer being a solo up here. He should be able to manage very well. Clockwork probably going to get a decent amount of farm in the lane. There's not really that threat of the kill coming out from either side, so that's going to be a pretty passive lane, a farm lane, early on in the game at the very least. Middle lane is going to be that matchup we talked about a moment ago, Viper versus Templar Assassin. So Viper works right through. Look at that. Level 1 of the poison attack just took off the entirety of the refraction. That is crazy, and that's going to be a really big benefit for him working forward. Of course, Living Armor is still in play, so he's going to have that to fall back on eventually. But either way, Viper is going to be relatively safe in that lane. He's a hard hero to engage on and kill if you're TA. So TA is going to have to try and find opportunities outside of the lane. And this bottom tri lane, of course, it's going to come down to the fact that there's a lot of denies coming out from Lich. They're going to get more experience. T5K are going to have to get some kills to try and bridge that experience gap sooner or later. And here we do see the rotation over towards the pull. Looks like Frizz poking his head in a little bit, but not going to get much of anything.
Yeah, just harassing down Ogre Magi doesn't really work too well just because he does have that 5 base armor and 600 starting health. So, honestly, it's pretty fruitless to just kind of harass him down little by little. You got to really just try to burst him with magical damage at this point in the game. The efforts are more focused on Weaver. You can harass Weaver very easily.
Yeah, and Weaver's rocking the set, so he's got some wings. But we also see Naga Siren does pick up the Riptide and did spam it out there. So Naga Siren, you wonder if they're going to play aggressive at all or just continue to be passive with this lane. Of course, they're going to have a lot of lane control, and Naga Siren already burning through most of her mana. They don't have all too much to engage with, so I think if I'm the Radiant, I want to just be passive. If anything, let T5K press hard enough to try and go for a dive or something like that, because otherwise you seem to be a little bit short on damage output relative to what T5K can offer. Now Wrong Rar might get jumped on here. Instead it looks like Enkos is just going in for some harass damage. But that's going to be the end of the initiation.
We do see a very solid matchup in mid. Both mids are doing quite well and competing each other in terms of farm, last hits, and denies. Although at the moment it looks like Tia is going to start falling a little bit behind just because she is leaving lane to go get that rune, and it kind of shows she is now barely a level behind.
And top lane is pretty much wash as well, so it all comes down to this bottom lane where Naga Siren has 7 CS and Enkos has 6, so it's still pretty even. There's a living armor coming out on Aha Luckney, and he's just going to casually back up. The wave is pushed too far for them. They don't want to get caught far from home, so if they don't have the denies going, if they don't have the pull going, which it is now blocked, they're going to play this very cautiously. Looks like they're making that clear right now.
Yeah, the big thing though is that with the living armor, it pretty much blocks the vast majority of these early level 1 abilities. So he should still feel pretty safe with just that damage block alone.
In the middle lane we see got the magic pulling ahead a little bit in CS, but only up by 2. It's probably because of the rotation out of the lane. Top lane there is an engage. Looks like Clockwork's trying to get the kill onto Lifestealer, but not quite getting the killing blow there. So getting close. That's interesting because he must have got off. I wish I had seen it. Did you see it?
I think Twilight just walked into a bunch of cogs and almost died.
With no mana, it definitely makes sense. But if he has a rage available, there's no way he should be taking that much damage from a Clockwork. So a good play by Tiberian up there. It's going to force him back a little bit, at least force some regen out from Twilight. He does have plenty of it. Clockwork is actually on the lower end of the regen, so he's going to need to get a bottle or something out to him sooner than later to be able to maintain his positioning in this lane. Meanwhile, middle lane, once again, it looks like Viper's content with giving up rune control to this Templar Assassin, which came back come back to bite him eventually, but right now it's not going to make that much of a difference since Viper is getting more CS. He's up 6 CS now as Frozen's considering rotating top, but thinks better of it. Now he's just wasting time out of lane. It's a little bit of a shame.
Yeah, it's actually going to be a big problem. Now that Viper's hit level 5, he actually can cast Poison Attack without any cooldown, so he can just orb walk all day, every day. And the more he orb walks, the more damage he's going to take thanks to Nether Toxin. And we do see a rotation in from Wrong.
Oh, here it goes. Wrong coming in. Frozen's got to pop out the haster, and they're going to try and go deep under the Viper. The Shadow Melt Strike is there. They get the living armor on Frozen as well, but it's already been broken. Frozen's still committed to this. One more attack will do the job, and he will get it. So the first blood's going to be on the middle lane. Viper goes down to Templar Assassin on a heavy dive with no response coming out from T5K at all. And in fact, they didn't even try and take that opportunity to engage on the bottom lane, knowing that the Lich wasn't there. It's a little bit of a squandered chance, perhaps, not having anyone rotate and not engaging. But either way, what's done is done. Middle lane gets an early advantage for Frozen.
I do completely agree. That fight actually probably could have been won by Got the Magic had he spent less time juking and just more time man fighting. The big thing is his damage scales up as health pools go down. So
yeah, he has invested those levels into the Nether Toxin as opposed to getting levels in the Corrosive Skin, so it is important that he attacks him when he's lower, and that definitely could have made all the difference. We do see Illuminates go flat, and we'll hit on Aha Luckney, so he's going to have to pop off the salve as Tree and Protector is standing there with 720 health just off of base stats. He's not too worried about these low-level Illuminates.
yeah, we do see that even with that kill, in terms of gold, he's still not that much further ahead than Got the Magic. And the big problem, though, is that Frozen keeps getting all of the runes thanks to the rune control provided by these psionic traps.
Yeah, here we go. Bottom lane, they're going to engage. They're trying to slow Frizz. They're going to get him. They're going to actually get the ensnare on him as well. Ogre Magi almost under his own tower is going to take a lot of damage here. Can they get the killing blow? Frozen going for it. He will get it. So a nice
Top
kill
lane
for Frozen there. Enkos is going to go down as well, maybe? Yes, they get the kill on Enkos too. Top lane. There's an engage. It looks like Keeper Light finishes off Lich just before we switch the camera over to top lane, and the TP out from Clockwork will allow him to survive. So it ends up being a 2-for-1 trade. Lich goes down, but they able to kill off Enkos. That's huge. Getting the kill on the Weaver this early in the game, and Ogre Magi, not the easiest target to kill, but they were adamant about it and were able to actually finish him off as well.
One of the big things about that, it does give TA the much needed lead that she needed in this mid lane that she wasn't really getting just by lane. Oh, mid.
Mid, the jump in from Clockwork. He's going to go on top of Viper. Viper taking a whole lot of damage, but Clockwork getting pretty unlucky with his battery assault procs, but either way, he does get the kill, and Frozen was coming in. Actually, Lich gets the cleanup kill, so takes that one away from Clockwork. But this is what you like to see out of Clockwork players. Tiburon has had a really good game laning up against that Lifestealer, and now the early rotation is going to increase his map presence and really cause T5K to be more cautious when being anywhere around the map or just even in their own lane, because Viper, of course, not going to be able to do that much against Clockwork. He's not very reliant on his auto attacks to secure the kills. Stun on the bottom lane. Naga Siren's going to get slowed down here. A little bit of damage will pile up on her, but nothing further coming out from the side of T5K.
Oh, she doesn't know. Got the magic.
Oh, got the magic rotating in. He's going to go ahead and use his ultimate onto Aha Luckney. Aha Luckney rotating under the tower. He will drop here from the auto attack from Ogre Magi. And Dewey's going to get hit by the orb as well. He's going to drop pretty low. One more attack should do him in. There it is, the Illuminate from Keeper. The light will actually finish him off. They're not done yet, though, because Frozen's being jumped under the tower. So one by one, they march in, and one by one, they're dropping. Enkos is getting pretty low. The refraction blocks off the Illuminate damage. Enkos stuck under the tower, though. Doesn't have enough mana for Sakuchi. We see the jump in from Tiburon. He's on top of Frizz, but he's in a bad position. He does get the kill on Frizz, but he drops his own life in exchange. And now Frozen is making his way out of here. Enkos uses his last mana for the Sakuchi, and they're trying to catch up, but the orb from Got the Magic is on the side, slowing down the pursuit. So they will cease and desist. No, Aha Luckney wants to look for a net opportunity, but can't find it.
So I think that was a 3-for-2 trade in favor of T5K.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That lasted much longer than I ever would have expected, but it definitely looked like T5K got the better of it. So we'll go with 3-for-2. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, we do see that Lifestealer, Twilight, has been taking huge advantage of the fact that everyone's just focusing so much in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and this is exactly what he did last game, too. The supports rotated out. he just casually farmed to his heart's desire, and now he's going to be able to put some extra pressure on this tower. Just the creep's going to push forward, and Helm of Iron Will, so he's going to be building towards an armlet first. Pretty standard for Nikes. I like the build on Lifestealer. It's an aggressive early build. Bottom lane, we see Nagastar is level 6 now, so we have Song of the Siren in play. Tree and Protector only level 3. Middle lane is engaged. It's on top of Got the Magic. Got the Magic taking a lot of damage. The minus armor is there. Less auto attack will do him in, but no, they get a little bit overconfident, so Tiberian has to drop the hook shot, and it will secure the kill. You can see that little swagger from Frozen as he walks away after the auto attack, and then Tiberian panic hook shot to make sure they didn't give that one away.
Almost very clutch, actually.
Yep.
But frankly, I think the hook shot was a bit wasted. He could have just gotten the kill with the rocket flare right after, even with the magic resist provided by Corrosive Skin.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction, but nonetheless, he's gonna have hook shot bad up in 4 seconds. Not the longest cooldown, so he'll be able to deal with that. Weaver on the bottom lane. It looks like they're grouping up here, or at least Tiberian's trying to sneak in. We do have another player coming down here. It's Viper. Got the Magic, gonna make his down towards this lane with an ultimate available if he wants to try and jump on Naga Siren, but he has to be careful. If he pops off his ultimate, they can almost burn the whole duration of it with one Song of the Siren, which is also in play. Here he comes from the side. He's going on top of Aha Luckney the same time that a snare gets dodged, but there's the ultimate. Viper has not used his ultimate though, so Viper Strike is still available, and they're going to casually disengage.
Again, forcing that ultimate out of Naga Siren is actually a very big deal. It's going to make it a lot harder for them to fight for the next 180 seconds. So,
and now even more heroes have joined the fray, as we see Presto as well as Frizz make their way down to the bottom lane.
If they drop the ult on Naga Siren at this point, she's actually probably just going to die almost immediately.
Here we go. Illuminate's going to come out. They're trying to get some early damage first. Instead, they find Dewey from the side. They're going to pop on the orb attacks.
Hook shot.
Dewey gets Got the Magic, gets jumped on by Tiberian. He's stuck in the middle of the cogs. So we do see the living armor keeping him alive for a moment, but Illuminate comes in to clean him up. And now the net is on Viper, holding him in place at least for a moment. Under the tower top, it looks like Wrong Rar trying to slow down Twilight 2008 from farming, but he could have definitely been used down bottom. Instead, he's up there doing that. Aha, Luckney can't do anything except for stand under the tower. Train Protector puts himself invisible with a camouflage. Now TP is coming in. It will be Frozen joining the fight, but the tower is already down. There's 4 heroes here. Aha, Luckney is going to walk into his death. Frozen is just going to try and back up now, and Dewey will do the same. But mana added to Weaver is going to allow for another Sakuchi. And do they have vision on Dewey? No, they do not, so he will be able to survive, but that was an awkward TP in from Frozen. He gets a break by surviving there, but Aha Luckney kind of gets baked into a death from his own teammate.
Yeah, and not only that, they lose the tower. They're going to be losing this top tower as well, because again, they're not pressuring Twilight at all. He's basically just sitting up here. Oh, Wrong is going to die.
Wrong under the tower, and Twilight is going to take him out rather easily. The net is going to stop him from TPing because it is Naga Siren, goes through that. However, it looks like Keeper of the Light was able to summon him out.
No, he just infested a friendly creep.
Oh, he infested a friendly creep.
Or enemy creep, I guess.
So, that creep actually taking damage now. So they're going to be able to engage on this. Twilight's going to pop out with a whole lot of health. Got the Magic is there as well. Tiberian comes in. He's going to use the Cogs as well as the Rocket Barrage in a moment. And this should be enough to finish off Got the Magic. We see, an ultimate comes in from Lich as well. It's going to slow down Twilight as he tries to retreat, but they won't be able to catch up to him. Instead, they get 1 kill on Viper. And this is a very even game. 7-7, Vex versus T5K. Winner of this will advance to the playoffs. Loser goes home without any chance at the $750 presented by Dota2.ca. So, really tense right now.
Yeah, we do see that the Hooded Defiance is going to be Keeper of the Light's first team fight item. Going for that over the Mechanism. And I do think that's a much better idea when you consider the fact that the enemy team does have a Lich. Also, a little bit of damage prevented by the Riptide as well. So that's a lot of damage right now. Fast blink on TA, though.
It is a fast blink. TA is doing really well. He's 3 for nil with 62 CS. So solid numbers across the board for him. And now the tower looks like it's going to go down in favor of T5K top as they're able to push this out. There's not enough heroes from the side of Vex to really respond properly. It looks like instead they're going to focus their efforts on middle, where Naga Siren is going to throw down a net on Got the Magic. Luckney is getting pretty low, though. The trap is going to pop. Luckney is going to have to pop off his ultimate, though, just to stop Got the Magic from killing him. Now Frozen's going to come in. Consider diving here. The Meld Strike is going to miss, and that's a huge miscue. Viper's going to get turned around. Turn this around now as Templar Assassin is going to take too much
The
damage.
ticks are gonna probably kill her.
Yep, should
Oh
die in a
no!
moment. No, he gets the living armor, so it blocks a lot of those ticks. And
And
surviving
still
and
no
the
vision.
blink away. So
Still no vision.
that's a huge missed opportunity. That could have been a phenomenal kill for them, but TA does make his way out of there. So Frozen, well played by him, plays it cautiously, and somehow able to survive. That
Oh,
living
that's why.
armor, so strong.
Mech is actually going to be built on Viper. I actually really like that they're picking it up on Viper over Keeper Light, just because Viper is a tankier hero, and he does love having those tanky items.
Yeah, similar to that of like a Razor, where you like to get either a tanky item like Mech. And of course, Mech's tankiness for the Cat Bearer is really underrated as well. It gives a lot of armor, it gives a lot of stats, which is really useful. So I do like that as well. And Keep It Light being able to work towards that secondary team fight item is going to be huge for them on these engages. I mean, Lifesteal are already making good progress in terms of his item build. So if they can get both of those up, they're going to be looking really solid as a 5-man core.
Yeah, it's especially because when you look at Vex's lineup, if they have the pipe up, Chain Frost is going to be significantly less effective. It's still going to hurt a lot. 280 damage, 10 bounces. That's 2,800 damage if it manages to get all bounces. Hook.
Hook middle, jumps on top of Got the Magic, and everyone joins the party in the cogs. There's a nice ultimate from Lich. Is actually going to bounce between a lot of heroes. Frizz gets slowed down by Frozen here, but Frizz is going to turn around, get a stun on Frozen. Now Enkos is going to try and pile on some damage where he can. Twilight is still in the middle of the fight, doing a lot of work. He kills off Lich first. Now he's putting extra hits on top of Tiberion, but Tiberion's going to drop down the cogs and able to stop them from further pursuit. This is an interesting game because if you look at the graphs, they're showing us the 5,000 gold lead is in favor of T5K, and if we look at the items, there's just nothing on this Naga Siren. I know bottom lane was rough. Aha Luckney is being played as a carry though, make no mistake about it, and with no item development quite yet, it's going to set him very far behind, whereas Twilight 2008 is already doing well. Viper has a lot of damage based off of his skills, and then having that survivability from the mech is going to put him ahead as well. And then the fact that they also have an Ogre Magi, who if he gets a couple more levels, Bloodlust is going to come into play, and Bloodlust scales very well throughout the entirety of the game.
This is basically case in point why Naga Siren probably won't see tier 1 play in the near future as a hard carry. Very possible as a mid, sort of like how DK is played in mid, because you can just kind of run up, Riptide, and walk out, right? The problem is she needs to be farmed like a 1, but she only functions like a 2. As in, while she needs a lot of gold, she doesn't put out a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. We have seen a lot of teams opt to use her as a support, and that may be her calling as the 6.78 patch continues to feel itself out, so to speak, and we get a better understanding of where everything stands. But for now, she is a carry for Vex, and it's just not working for them. I feel like if T5K took initiative and decided to group up right now and just force 5-man fights on top of 5-man fights, they can really dent Vex in terms of taking down towers and getting a lot of kills as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just because Naga Siren, outside of a teamfight situation, she doesn't really bring much to the table. Her illusions don't really hurt that much unless you have a Radiance and a Diffusal Blade, and by then you spent so much farm on items that don't really have that much relevance in the ultra late game that you have a problem. So
we'll see exactly what she can do. If there's any way to come back into this farming game. TA, meanwhile, does have good farm, so does have the Blink Dagger up, but not really close to working towards the second item. Ever since that last point we pointed out she had 62 CS and 3 kills, she's still there. Has gotten 10 more CS. That's over 2-3 minutes, really, and that's because T5K have a good grasp and good control over this map right now. You can see all the tier 1s down on the side of Vex, allows for a really strong map control. You can see the aggressive wars in play from T5K as well, the one on the top lane, and good control over the rune spots with the sentries in place to boot. But now Treant Protector is level 6, so there is going to be an overgrowth, which is going to help TA's damage output significantly in the middle of these fights. So we'll see if they're able to capitalize on that, as Treant does place a ward on top of an Observer ward from the Dire. They might come out and try and counter that shortly.
trying to see if they actually have vision of it. I don't think they do. Yeah, I don't think they see it. I don't think they saw it.
Take over for a minute.
Oh, big fight in mid. Well, big fight happens in mid, so Rong looks like to be retreating from the end of the fight that we totally missed because we both took breaks at the same time. And it looks like the fight continues on. Is the camera following?
Sorry about that. I'm back. So
Welcome back.
we do have. I had to take a phone call for a second, but I'm good now. We do have this 5-man grouping, so this is exactly what I wanted to see. It looks like I missed 3 kills. Hopefully the camera was somewhere near it. But 3 kills, so this is going to be a perfect opportunity to take down this tower. Of course, the living armor is placed upon it, so it's going to slow it down a little bit, but not that big of a deal, as they're going to continue to work through it. It looks like Lifesteal has picked up the plate mail. Is going to be pretty close to pick up an AC, actually. 2,600 gold in the bank, so he's about the recipe cost away from it. And that's going to be another huge pickup for them, considering they already have the minus armor from the Swarm, which isn't actually maxed out yet, which is a little shame considering we saw how strong Swarm is yesterday. I would really like 1 level in Germinate attack and more placed, and the emphasis on Swarm. But nonetheless, they have the minus armor from that, and 3 heroes that are going to take full advantage of minus armor in this game.
Use the courage medallion. Use it. Use it. Use it.
Nope, they don't want it.
Nope, they're not going to use it. And
it's a big cooldown to waste on this Roshan, you know. You might not
yeah,
get to
like
use it later
15
on.
seconds, right? 7-second cooldown. You know, 7-second cooldown that lasts 7 seconds. It has 100% uptime.
No, it's a big cooldown to use on just Roshan. I mean, I can understand why they're trying to save it.
Nah, they should. They would have finished it by now if they used it. That's the thing.
He's just not paying attention, and I mean, I wonder if he even realized he picked it up because he bought the medallion after he already had a javelin. So I don't even know if he knows what he's doing in terms of items. But either way, Lifesteal will have an Aegis, and this could be the go-ahead to try and break into the base.
Yeah, he's currently just 550 gold away from his AC, and that's a big item. I'd really like to see Ogre Magi as well pick up the Vlads just to provide that extra damage, armor, and lifesteal aura for the lifestealer, as well as the mana regen. He actually really needs that, and there's no Ocula anywhere. Although there is an Ocula on Weaver, but I do believe the Vlads gives a bigger aura.
Yeah, that definitely would help out Ogre Magi.
Yep. So definitely Vlads would be a good option for their team.
We'll see a lot of pings coming out. It looks like a grouping is here for Vex as they're looking for something in their jungle. Clockwork's still working towards a mech, so 22 minutes in. Clockwork, of course, being an off-lane hero, but not having your mech 22 minutes in is a little bit disappointing in terms of development, and that's not the only thing.
It's a bigger problem when you consider that Keeper of the Light, the hard support for T5K, has his pipe.
It definitely puts it in perspective. So he'll have that out to him in a moment, and they should have the go-ahead to be able to push into this now, of course. Got the Magic, can push out another lane, be pulled in by Keeper of the Light. That's what I expect will happen, and Point Booster is picked up by Got the Magic, so he's going to be working towards that Aghanims in all likelihood, which would be a nice pickup. Yeah,
Aghanims is definitely very helpful. If you do the math on Viper, and I think I did this because someone picked Viper earlier today as well, right? If you add up all the attack and movement speed slows from Viper, right, you're looking at over 145 attack and movement speed slows percentage, right? So that drops them down to 100 movement speed because that's the minimum, and 145 less attack speed. So for someone like Naga Siren, she's dropped from 195 to 50 attack speed. She's attacking less than once every 1.7 seconds.
That is devastating. We'll see. I mean,
well, actually, it scales inversely. She's attacking once every 3 seconds.
Wow.
As she gets to negative values, it's awful.
That is horrible. And it's like a 20-second cooldown? What is it? I don't even know.
It becomes a 12-second cooldown with an X.
12-second.
So it's almost 50% uptime. But you basically start attacking once every 2 to 3 seconds. There's a great video of a Sing Sing reaction video where he attacks an Enchantress as Tiny, and Enchantress was able to toggle armlets in between Tiny's attacks because there was so much delay.
That does sound funny. Enchantress, of course.
That's the kind of problem you encounter when you're dealing with Viper. If you attack him, you get Viper Strike and Poison attacked, you're done. You're not doing anything.
Yeah, and on a 12-second cooldown with a Keeper of the Light on your team, he's going to be able to spam that out really frequently in just one team fight. Now we do see him pushing out this Tier 2 on the top lane. This is going down pretty seamlessly. Frozen is looking for some way to initiate here. He's going to put in an illusion first. He does have a Yasha up now, but you see the Aegis is still available for Twilight, so despite the fact that he's getting initiated on, he's going to be fine no matter what. Tiburon's taking a lot of damage, though. Overgrowth is in play. The Infest will pop off as well. Dewey's going to go down. He's the first casualty. Twilight's still alive. The Song of the Siren is going to stop him in place, and they should be able to focus on him and at least take down the Aegis. But instead, it looks like he's going to be able to back off. Frozen looks for the damage, can't find it, and now Tiburon's going to drop down Cogs just to safely allow his team to retreat.
Yeah, not only did they not burn the Aegis, they also lost a tower and a hero. They didn't get a single thing out of that whole engagement. And one of the big things that happened there was the Swarm. He popped the Siren Song, but they all had Swarm bugs on them.
So they're all busy fighting the Swarm bugs. They're
So
really frustrating little buggers.
They are, because no matter how much damage you do, it always takes 7, 8 hits every time. So they're infuriating. But the biggest problem is that you're still losing armor even while they can't attack you. So when they do start attacking you, I saw just the Lich get 3 shot by... sorry, not the Lich. The Treant was just getting 3 shot by Lifestealer with the armor reduction from the Assault Cuirass and the bugs. It says he has no armor. He's already into negatives with just the Assault Cuirass.
Yeah, that is ridiculousness. You wonder if maybe that has a lot of potential synergy with something like a Bristleback eventually, if you want to go for a hyper-aggressive lineup. But that's for another game.
If anyone really needs a Vlad's right now, it's Vex, because they need some cheap, cost-effective counter to the Assault Cuirass. And that 5 armor aura, it really is the only option that they have, because no one has the money for an AC.
And that's a good point as well, and you think maybe one of them would consider transitioning to it, but Templar Assassin can't really go for it because she's still lacking in terms of the damage output. The supports don't have enough money. Clockwork, I mean, the only person that could really go for it is Naga Siren. She's not going to get damage out of nowhere, and I don't know if she feels it's the best option for her. She's working towards an eventual... Oh, we see the engage down here. They're going to get off the Overgrowth to save Lich for a moment. Twilight has already used Rage, but he still has the Aegis to fall back on. He's going to toggle his armlet on in a moment. There we go. Comes back into the fight. Tiburon's going to use the hookshot on him at close range, and another disengaged use of the Song of the Siren. Actually, on the sideline, Viper was still fighting Frozen, and Frozen almost goes down, but is able to just barely escape. And they're going to try and put some damage onto his tier 3 tower. Gotham actually gets caught here with the ensnare, and the ultimate comes out from Lich. It's bouncing all around. There's no pipe yet. It looks like pipe was already used previously. Frizz is going to jump on top of Frozen. It looks like they're losing a lot of heroes on each side. 3 heroes dead for T5K. Frizz is not looking pretty good either. He gets taken down, and now Twilight will burn the Aegis. So this is actually a good fight from Vex.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they're probably able to pick off Twilight here as well. He's just turn around and fight. He's probably not going to be out. He's trying. Oh,
Ooh.
You can armor toggle while channeling?
What? That's a
What?
glitch. That's a glitch.
Wait, what?
How can you
You
do
can
that?
armor toggle while channeling? What? Oh my god!
Since when can you do that? You can't even switch boots while channeling.
What? What? I'm sure the team is having the exact same reaction.
Reported.
It's like, he's cheating.
He's
What?
cheating. Reported.
How do you... What? That's not okay. That's not okay.
He broke the game. Okay. I don't know how he survived, but T5K just doing whatever they can. I don't even... What do you say about that? He broke the game.
That's not okay. You can toggle your armor while channeling? It's like only one item I know you can do that with, and that's Shadow Blade.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even change your boots while channeling. It's ridiculous. I wish you could change your treads, but you can't. So
You would die if you did that.
I don't know. I don't know why that worked for him. I bet if we tried to do it in the custom game, it wouldn't work for us, though. So Twilight is just on a
Cheating.
next level right now.
He's cheating.
Or cheating. He picks up a Basher as well, so he's not getting any smaller. If we take a look at net worth, we can see he's at 13,000 net worth. Templar Assassin keeping up slightly at
Oh, but
11,000.
That's an awful item choice. Yasha.
Yeah, she had that Yasha. She has 4,500 gold in the bank as well. We'll see if she decides to go for crit, which is probably would have been the better choice over Yasha, but
That's the thing about TA. She's a burst hero. It's about getting the biggest burst out of those 6 refraction charges you have for damage. And that's it. You gotta build big. You gotta build Datalists. You gotta build Desolators. You gotta build MKBs. Attack speed items don't mean anything to TAs.
Yep. So we'll see if she realizes that and doesn't finish the Manta. A Manta would be nice. I guess it takes off a lot of the slows, but still, they're in a position where they need that burst damage that TA is supposed to offer in their team fights, and they're not going to get it from a Yasha. They're not going to get it from a Manta either in terms of the net damage output. So it is going to slow them down even further. She's going to have to farm really heavily to get back into a item build that's going to just build on their damage output. Naga Siren does complete up the defusal. We saw it in play in the last fight. It's a nice pickup, but it's not going to do all too much in the grand scheme of things. We also see Roshan being peeked out a minute and a half until he respawns. Ancients being stacked here as well. This is a 5-man Ancient farm, so everybody's in.
Well, the defusal is even more important when you consider the fact that Lifestealer's immune to mana burn while he's raged. This is a super stack camp. That's 4 stacks.
Yep.
I'm not surprised that it takes the entire team to do this one.
You can see Lifestealer's actually dropping to some of these creeps, but Oraka will spot them off. They won't be able to respond quickly enough to actually get a kill, but it would be pretty opportune if they found Lifestealer at this low of a health.
Yeah, that's... Unless you're like someone who specializes in clearing large cannons, like a Battle Fury or a Flat Cannon or something, like that's a pain. That hurts a lot.
Yeah, it definitely does. Frozen's on the top lane now. Oh, he's making another mistake. He's going for Eagle Song. So this is going to be a butterfly build. This is not...
Especially because Weaver already has an MKB almost. Oh, come... Oh, man.
This is the second time we've seen this, actually. We saw it yesterday, and we're seeing it again today. This, like, false promise of Butterfly GG, it's just not going to work out for him. I don't like this build at all. You don't see many TAs even think about going for the Butterfly, really.
It's because it's such a late-game brawling item. TA is not a brawling hero. TA is a blink in, kill 4 people, and die in a glorious death. Also, why didn't he just go to the side shot for that? She's actually going to take the courier to finish off the Eagle Song when she was right by the side shot. That's also awful.
So, another slight misplay coming out from Frozen. But Frozen is 6-0. I mean, he's been the best player.
6-0, but he's 6-0, but if he had a Desolator and crit instead of a Eagle Song, I mean, instead of a Butterfly and a Yasha, he would be like 12-0.
And that is true. And we'll see if he can... I don't even know. It's going to take a long time for him to work on the next item. And he will find a double damage in the river, so maybe this will rectify his damage issues. But either way, it looks like T5K are going to take this a little bit more passive and play it carefully. I'm not sure if that's the right decision, considering right now Naga Siren is out farming this Weaver. We talked about Weaver and late game effectiveness. He's certainly going to be more effective than Naga Siren for some time, but eventually Naga Siren's going to catch up. I think they could be a little bit more aggressive than what they're doing.
I do completely agree, especially with a life sealer as fat as they are. They can probably just go for some Nake spawn with the Weaver. And I think this is why. They're just waiting for the Roche to come back up. They want to go on this. They're going to get spotted too. This little trap here is going to reveal them. Also, Courage Medallion. Courage Medallion. Courage Medallion. Do you know you can use it on Roche? Courage Medallion. Please? There we go.
He did it.
It took him a very long time.
Big plays.
Look how fast Roche is dying now because he just used the Courage Medallion.
He didn't use it a second time, though. I guess we're getting nitpicky then. The bottom lane did get pushed out. The tower gets denied by Got the Magic.
That's not even nitpicky. They can finish a Roshan like 12 seconds faster if they just use the Courage Medallion.
Yeah, we also have what looks like a timer from spectator chat, but can't possibly be.
10 minutes behind.
It's going the wrong way. The reverse timer in play. So we're looking at 43 minutes for the next Roche. That will be a Roche with Aegis and Cheese. But we're waiting to see if perhaps T5K can close this one out. Now that they have Abyssal complete up on Lifestealer, great pickup. They have Aegis on him as well. He is looking beefy. And there we go. They're adding in a level 3 Bloodlust. So 14% move speed, 40 attack speed. These are great numbers. 40 attack speed is the same as a level 4 Aura from Beastmaster. So tremendous value from that. The Viper has the Aghanims, so we get to see multiple. He's TPing away. Looks like Twilight's going to rely on Keeper of the Light to bring him back into the fight. And this tower's going to be pressed now. So working their way in. There's the TP back from TA. First ultimate comes out from Viper, doing work on Lich. It looks like Overgrowth is only going to catch Viper, and then a clutch pause for a disconnect. Once again,
it's all these puppy pauses, man. Every game has had one so far, I swear.
these pauses are a little bit suspicious.
Yeah, there we go. 1-800-Merlini from one of the other casters. 1-800. It's the Merlini police right here. That said, I still think T5K have the advantage going into this fight. They simply put up more damage thanks to the poor item choices coming out of Frozen. Frozen picking up something like a butterfly, a helm. What? Oh.
This Overgrowth is used on only one hero. It only catches the Viper. That's
Catches Twilight too, I think.
no. You can click on him and see the effect. It only catches the Viper, so it's a little bit of a shame. That's a wasted ability. That's really all he's giving you at this point in the game. Alunuk, he's going to get engaged on. Not even enough time to throw off a song. He's going to have to buy back. And we see the ultimate from Lich is flying. Twilight 2008 is taking a lot of damage. He will pop the Aegis in the middle of the team. And Aha Luckney makes his way right back into the middle of the fight. Swarm flies out. Twilight's going to turn around, try and deal damage to whoever he can. He does get netted up. He needs to be careful here. He can actually drop. Nope. Instead, he's going to turn around and finish off Nagasara first. Now they're doing some work on Frozen. Frozen's going to go down. Dewey gets hit by the slow and the ultimate coming out from Got the Magic. But Tiberium from the back end is going to hookshot in and get a kill onto Twilight 2008. Now Tiberium in the cogs is going to get a second kill onto Viper as well. So he's really saving this team fight for his team. Were there secondary buybacks? Looks like Nagasiren was the only one to buy back and was killed twice.
But it's still a fight very much in favor of T5K. They didn't get a tower. They lost both carries. Well, 2 of 3 carries, but T5K have 3 carries. They have 3 high damage physical output heroes, right?
Yep, and they're going to be content with that. So they're able to get some extra pressure. The tower didn't get particularly low, but they're trading once again. And, you know, trading while ahead is okay.
Oh, they also lost the courier. Vex lost the courier.
How did Vex lose a courier in their own base? That's
you can see it right there. It's right by their racks on the bottom.
Oh, you can. Interesting that the courier was targeted. These particle effects are kind of creepy.
I think that's like, oh no, that's not even the wings. They're just like in the middle of the air while he's on the ground. It's like he decomposes into.
He is unusual, so this must be the Crystal Rift effect. And he got renamed. Can you rename couriers now?
No, yes, you can totally do that.
So he has some kind of Japanese symbols for his name. But enough of staring at the courier's corpse. Weaver has 1,600 gold in the bank. We see, looking at the net worth, he's still only at 10,000 net worth, so not doing too great. Twilight dropped in that fight, but of course he still has 1,800 gold, and he is still atop the board in total value. They're going to rotate down here and look for a kill on Aha Luckney. That buyback from Nagasiren really did save them there. That Song of the Siren was able to slow down the fight, which could have got out of hand had it not been present. So that was really big from him to make sure he did it.
Nah, those are all fake.
All fake.
But yeah, no, that said, yeah, absolutely. Nagasiren buying back delayed the inevitable. That said, Nagasiren now super far behind. We're talking, as a safe lane carry, 7k behind Twilight.
Yeah, as if he wasn't behind already, he puts himself even further behind.
And we see
it's a hero
Lyso
that needs more farm, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Twilight needs less farm on a Lyso to be more as effective as a Nagasiren. Nagasiren really, thanks to her illusion-oriented builds, is very reliant on items. It's like Phantom Lancer pre the 4.2, right? No one would play him. He had phenomenal illusion scaling too. 25% of your damage on 8 illusions is fantastic. But Twilight,
jump on Twilight. Twilight's going to try and man up on this and do work on Tiberium, but Twilight is going down rather quickly. He did kill off one of the cogs, and now in comes Got the Magic, but Twilight is actually dead. Got the Magic gets hit by a bounce from the Chain Frost. And it looks like on the bottom lane, Nagasiren's going to try and initiate on Keeper of the Light here. She has enough damage to take him down, but got the Enkos is going to go ahead and try and do work on Aha Luckney in response. The song has already been used. Enkos with Sakuchi in a couple of seconds. Can he catch up and get this kill on Aha Luckney? There's TP support in. He has to be careful not to get caught out of position, and he will time-lapse away and be okay.
So a couple of really good picks up by Vex here, and that they're definitely going to be happy with that. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. I think they're still plagued by some really poor item choices. Like, Satanic is fine on TA. It gives her a lot of tank and survivability, but let's put it this way. With Refraction down, she hits for 205, 230-ish damage, right? That's not awful, right? Weaver, on the other hand, hits only for 190, actually. So he doesn't hit that hard, but you have to keep in mind, with the Swarm, he gets more armor reduction. With the Courage Medallion, he gets more armor reduction. He's also harder to kill thanks to time lapse, and he's also like 4 levels behind. Actually, more. He's 7 levels behind the TA, and he barely will out. He will out DPS a TA in a straight man fight.
Yeah, he will, and you have to look at it as Templar Assassin. You consider Satanic, it's more of a defensive item. It doesn't give you as much damage output. Butterfly, in this instance, more of a defensive item. Then we have Yasha, which is ambiguous utility item, and Blink Dagger, which is another utility item. Where's the offense coming from? I mean, he's dealing 250 or so, 230 a hit, but that's not that much when you're going up against AC in the hands of Lifestealer, so everyone's getting that extra bonus armor. Viper's already tough to deal damage to. Weaver's very elusive in the middle of the team fights. He really just needs that pop out of that meld strike that can take chunks off of people's HP, and it's not there yet.
Yeah, he does, with the Refraction up, hit for about 300 damage, and that's a sizable portion of some of these guys' health, but it's not going to be anything against a Lifestealer, for instance. Right? Lifestealer has enough armor to kind of shrug off most of these attacks. And if he goes for an MKB next, which I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for, because he did see the Butterfly on TA, I wouldn't be surprised. But even better, and I think
Frost used top lane on Viper just to try and slow him down, and he actually, Tiberium with a great hook is going to catch him. Viper turns around, he tries to put some damage on wrong RAR, but wow, Viper gets picked off. And this is the 3rd pick off in a row for Vex now. They're actually ahead in the kill lead. Middle lane Illusions were pushing in the lane, and they get cleared off by Twilight. But that is a good sign. I mean, these pickoffs are starting to add up.
Yeah, the gold graph is actually almost evening out at this point, and the XP is in favor of Vex. So that's a big deal. That said, if Twilight picks up a certain kind of item, and the one I have in mind is a great one, it's a Heaven's Halberd. GG Vex.
Yep, they don't have any BKB, they don't have anything to break that, so it would certainly take TA out of the fight and really just put a close
that and Ghost Scepters.
But you have to wonder, if you're on the side of T5K, you had a lead, and they know they had the lead. They could have stayed grouped up, they could have, I don't know, wanted to pick up themselves, but these individual deaths are just hurting them. This Manta completed on TA. Yep.
Yeah, I'm still disappointed by that. That's the Satanic is better than Manta.
Chrysalis is up too, at the very least.
Yeah, okay, at least she finally has some crit, but if a Heaven's Halberd comes up, and I really hope to see it on Twilight, like, I really hope he can think that, like, no BKBs, Manta doesn't dispel it, I can man fight even, and I get evasion, 25% evasion from that. Heaven's Halberd is definitely the best item that Twilight can go for. The other option is Heart, just go for pure tank in case you do get kind of focused down by magic, by Lich. But even Lich doesn't do that much magical damage at this point.
Yeah, it's very negligible, the Chain Frost, throughout these fights, especially with the pipe in play, and it has been for a long time. We also see Enkos is sitting on 2,400 gold. He really hasn't been able to get anything else since he picked up that NKB, and that was quite a while ago, so see, a lot of these farmers are stagnating. In fact, Templar Assassin has surpassed Twilight in terms of net worth. He's now up above 20,000, while Twilight is close, but he's not there yet. So this is a little bit of a concern. I feel like T5K have squandered a lot of opportunities. They're going all in. All 5 men are down here for the push, but Roshan respawns in 30 seconds as this nice reminder is letting us know this is a big team fight. If they lose this team fight, they can lose a Rosh, and then from there on, middle lane is pushed, they can transition into a push, so this could be a make-or-break kind of deal.
Well, it looks like Naga Siren is going for a small base race here, and without the illusions, her damage output's going to be absolutely ridiculously low in this upcoming team fight, so they really got to pressure it now. They got to go now, and they got to make something happen.
Well, we do see
Naga Siren's getting the tower first.
Yeah, Naga Siren's going to get it. Glyph is used to try and save the racks. It's a late Glyph, though. And now Twilight is continuing to deal damage to his tower, but he's taking a lot of damage in return as well. This is Twilight without an Aegis. He is what he is.
Here comes the song.
And Naga Siren's going to come back before he can finish off the racks and use the song. Aha, luckily in the middle of the fight.
Oh,
looking to open on.
Overgrowth was
Overgrowth's-
popped during the song. It
wow.
didn't latch on anybody.
That's a bad use of the Overgrowth. Here comes the Chain Frost, but it's not going to do all too much, and the Rax is dead. Twilight was able to finish off the melee barracks, and now it looks like the full engage is here. Twilight's going to infest and pop out. Ogre Magi is dead. He's the first casualty of this fight. Enkos is trying to do some work from the side. Frozen is slowed down constantly by the orb, but Twilight's not taking enough damage to finish him off. Got the magic as the next target. He's going to go down as well. 3 heroes dead for T5K. Buyback comes out instantly from Twilight, and this is where they can try and press for that Roche, but it looks like Enkos is actually going to somehow escape out of their base. Still no invis detection. For some reason, teams in this tournament very reluctant to get their invis detection up.
It's not like Chinese Dota where you'll see at 20 minutes a gem bot just to de-ward.
Yeah, it's the furthest from it, actually. And with Roche up, this is an important buyback. So he's going to be able to push out this wave a little bit. Since the Rax did go down just to creeps, there was enough damage done by Naga Siren, taking the melee barracks down to around 250 health so that the creeps could finish the job. And that ends up being a really good trade for Vex. I mean, if you're playing from behind and you're able to trade a Rax, that's ideal.
Yeah, it's hard to say if they're even behind anymore, just because T5K have kind of squandered their advantage, and there's the gem pickup by Clockwork.
So they're going to actually have some detection. This is a big step for Vex right now.
Yeah, it's the first usage of actual detection besides sentries this entire game.
Yeah.
No dust, nothing but that, and that's honestly becoming a huge problem.
We see DD up on TA, and they're coming in. The Mel Strike and the Riptide. Look at the minus armor on Roshan. He's actually sitting on 0. I'm not sure if the Riptide hit on him. But either way, Roshan's going to go down in an instant. And there's an Aegis and Cheese just like that for Vex. And Vex taking this game late again on the back of TA this time. TA has done a good job. His item choices have been questionable throughout, but still only 1 death in a 45-minute game. 9 kills to his name, and they're having trouble dealing with him, really.
The problem is that their biggest damage dealer, who would be effective against TA, is in fact the Weaver, and the Weaver hasn't had anything significant in a very long time. He built a Crystallis, but for Weaver, Desolator is a better item.
Yes.
So there's another questionable item choice, for instance. It's just because, you can't crit on the second strike. So you can crit on the first strike, whoop de freaking do. That's not really his biggest advantage. Right? His biggest advantage is that it's 2 big attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And if your 2 big attacks are also increased by a 6 armor reduction, that's a bigger attack than just 1 crit and 1 regular hit.
So for the first time in 20 minutes, we're going to see Vex on the aggressive, and a great hook shot has got to catch 4 inside of it. And here comes the Chain Frost to follow it up. But an awful song ruins the engagement from Aha Luckney, and this could really get turned around on them now. Templar Assassin does take down Ogre Magi, but there's a lot of low health targets here. Twilight is not dropping too low. Frozen is in a fist fight with him, and they do take down Twilight. The 4-staff forward is going to put them right on top of Viper. Viper's dropping down low, and he's going to die as well. 3 heroes dead for T5K. It looked like Aha Luckney almost sabotaged his own effort. Hookshot in from Tiburon with that low cooldown from the Axe. We'll get them another kill. That buyback instantly coming out from Weaver, and they're going to actually pursue even further as Frozen jumps forward, but he's going to back off afterwards, realizing that he doesn't want anything to do with this tower that is still being blocked because the tier 2 is still standing.
At this point, that's probably going to be a GG. That fight is a prime example of what kind of state T5K are in. And it just came down to the fact that even with the questionable item choices that TA had, right, Butterfly, Mantis Stealth, these are both questionable TA items. They're not the best items. She could have gotten a Desolator and earlier Daedalus. She would have burst harder, right?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't able to capitalize on that. They didn't build MKBs, which are good items anyways on some of these heroes. Also, that poor Ogre Magi.
1,000 damage crit from somewhere. He wasn't meant long for
Frozen,
this world.
right?
Yeah, I'm pretty
It's
sure
like, that's
it was
what
from Frozen.
That's what it came down to, right? It's like T5K had the advantage. They didn't get the right items. They didn't press the advantage that they had.
Yeah, and you have a window of opportunity when a Viper's on your team. Doesn't scale that well too late. And we saw him fall off. I mean, he had his mech and his Aghanims, 30 minutes in? We're at 47 minutes, and all he's accumulated since then is a Talisman of Evasion. They had a great chance when Twilight was ahead by huge, right after he picked up his AC, to close the door on this game, but they really just blundered it and letting them get the pickoffs. This is well played by Vex. I thought they were out of it for certain, but instead they were able to manage, even with bad Treant ultimates, with bad Naga ultimates. I mean, they persisted through everything somehow and come out with an improbable victory.
Yeah, this is just fantastic play coming out of Vex, able to really kind of just capitalize on the mistakes T5K were. And by mistakes T5K were making, I mean the mistakes T5K were making, not capitalizing on the mistakes Vex were making. Right?
Yeah.
And it's still great play. Like, honestly, Frozen is on the ball with his play. Not necessarily his item choices, but his actual play was phenomenal. Right? He was always where he needed to be, always putting out damage in a very applicable fashion. He was actually getting a very good sideblade hits on almost in every fight. So even if his item choices weren't the best, his actual play was phenomenal.
Okay, and that's going to be it for the day. So Vex will move on to the playoff stages, which will commence tomorrow evening. I believe 5 p.m. Eastern is the set time for it as of right now. And playoffs will go on tomorrow as well as Tuesday. So be sure to come in and tune in for those. You can find it here on my stream. Of course, you can find it on the in-game ticket. Be sure to purchase one of those. Only $1. It's a great value buy. Why not go ahead and spend that money? Something good, and plus it shows plenty of support to the sponsors of this tournament, Dota2.ca, and it will encourage them to be able to host more events like this in the future where we get to showcase brilliant amateur talent. I want to thank everyone that tuned in. I'm NYJohn, joined by my co-caster El Presidente. El Presidente, where can they find you?
You can find me at ElPresDota on Twitter or at ElPresDota on Twitch. Not that I really stream that often.
And of course, you can find me at NYJohn TV on Twitter. And you can find me. You can find replays. Actually, I just uploaded a whole lot of VODs from yesterday, one of which is phenomenal. Root versus
Oh yes,
Arctic, and you
that
were
game
with me
was
for that game. That VOD is on my YouTube, /NYJohn TV after the YouTube shenanigans. So you can be sure to check that out. That's going to be there. And of course, you can also watch it on the in-game ticket. So $1, you can watch those replays in-game with your brilliant HD computer setup, whatever it may be. So once again, thank you to Dota2.ca for setting up this tournament. This is the conclusion of the games for the day for the Dota 2 Canada Cup. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, I believe. I'll double check that, but of course you can make sure by following Dota 2 Canada on Twitter. Updates will be there, and you'll get to see playoff action. We're finally getting into the nitty-gritty. After 2 long days, we're going to get to see what these teams can do in, I think it's longer series. Is it best of 1 for the beginning of the playoffs or best of 3?
Let's see. We have a schedule here. Let's see. It looks like they're going to be best of 3s. It looks like best of 3s to me. It says it starts at 15, or 5 or 6 tomorrow, and then the next match starts at 8:30. So I think they're planning for best of 3s.
Here, oh, looks like they're going to be best of 3s. You're right. So this is going to be some intense matchups. I mean, we saw Molotov look brilliant yesterday. Arctic is coming in on the lower end, so they're going to have to play a higher seeded team. Maybe, I'm not sure exactly who they'll end up against. I think actually I heard they're going to play Molotov. So Arctic are going to have to play Molotov in a South American matchup. Typical mistakes to Group C, so they'll be playing Vex, and the winner of Group D was Smeagol, so they'll be playing whoever else made it from, I think, Gotham. Probably.
That's they're playing against. Yeah, it's got them.
So these are going to be some interesting games, and we'll get to capture all of them. So once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.